how does a holding company actually work? This is one I got asked recently. I did a video on holding companies, which was quite a popular video, and someone said, how do they actually work? So I'll explain this in basic terms. What you've normally got is you've got a limited company and you've got the owner who holds the shares of that limited company. So I'm going to use an example of one person to make it easier, but you've got one person owning 100% of, let's call the company trading company. What happens in a holding company structure is the owner of those shares swaps their shares for shares in a holding company. So you've then got owner, holding company, owner holds the shares of the holding company owns the shares of the trading company. So what that allows is the owner can still take money out via a dividend. So the dividend gets paid up from the trading company up to the holding company to the owner. But what that also allows is money to be transferred from, or assets to be transferred from the trading company to the holding company, and then ring fenced within that holding company. So let's say the trading company's got a load of cash it doesn't use. It can pay that up as a dividend up to the holding company. There's no tax on dividends paid up to the holding company, so that money can then be sat in that holding company. Then if anything happens to the trading company, let's say it goes bankrupt, it gets sued, whatever, the trading company goes bust, the holding company remains with the owner holding the shares of the holding company, and whatever is in that holding company remains. So it's a great way to ring fence things. It's not all positives, there's disadvantages potentially as well if you're looking at selling, because if the trading company sells, it's not the owner who receives the money, it's the holding company. So then the holding company, the owners have got to get the money out of the holding company. So there's bits like there to consider. So it's all about what the longer term plans are, trying to risk. If you've got a lot of cash in a trading company, it is a risk to consider. The setting up of a holding company is not simple, because you're essentially doing a share for share exchange. You're exchanging shares in one company to another. So there's exemptions you need to get from, like stamp duty. Otherwise you'll be paying a fortune in tax, because you're essentially selling your shares in the trading company for shares in the holding company. So you need to make sure you're getting the right exemptions. It's not something I would attempt yourself. Definitely not. Take advice on it. There's loads of paperwork that goes with it. There's legals that go with it, because you're essentially transferring shares from one company to another. So there's a legal document there. So not something I would attempt yourself. Not the cheapest of things to do, to be honest, which is another consideration of actually doing it. But that's how they work in a nutshell-ish. Hopefully that all makes sense.